Welcome to the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show alongside the poised and ready Chris Egan. I'm Paul Sylvie. The Mariners are the hottest team in baseball right now. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They walked off the Mets last night in a 3-2 win in 10 innings. And before we get to baseball, Chris, I don't even know how you have time to come in here and do this show.
Well, I want to compliment you. I'm feeling good because obviously the Mariners, the weather, and, you know, since we've been on the show, I've been seeing you wearing jeans. So Paul, I think for the first time since like 8th grade when I wore Levi's 501s, I got some jeans on again. And
look at you.
They're feeling comfy. I'm surprised they're not tighter because I'm on a run here where I've been invited to 20 grad parties. Last night was number 2 of 20. And the food is incredible. Homemade cookies last night at the Looker House. A lot of good chicken.
Nice.
But
I see the jeans.
Are
those the
tighter.
elastic jeans up there?
They stretch a little bit. I'm going to tell you what, for these grad parties, I mean, just keep inviting me. Paul and I, we want to come to all your grad parties. We're going to be the grad party crashers, Paul.
The difference between being a young dad and an old dad, man. It's a different era.
I'll tell you this, though. It is different nowadays. It used to be, you know, we celebrate graduations all the time, but some of these grad parties, they're going out. I'm going to one, they have the Dick's Burger truck at their house. One has the Fisher Scones truck at their house. I mean, it's getting out of hand, but I'm not complaining right now.
Yeah,
Paul.
man, it's competition out there. All right, you're the beneficiary, Chris. We'll take a look at what's on tap for today's show. We'll hear from the M's and highlight some of their young stars. Mariners broadcaster Brad Adam will join us in the second segment today for some insight on the team and a Cal Raleigh update. The Rams are going all in on the upcoming season, the fallout and repercussions from their monster trade for Myles Garrett. And legendary coach Mike Leach is eligible for selection to the College Football Hall of Fame. We will revisit some of his best quotes throughout his career. And Chris, if there was a Hall of Fame for sound bites, Leach would have been a first ballot Hall of Fame.
No question. His sound bites when he broke down back in the day all the Pac-12 mascots was one of my favorites. He talked about following a raccoon through Pullman. I mean, I love that. So many great stories.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's an Ultimate 5 segment for sure. All right, the Mariners beat the Mets 3-2 in 10 innings last night. They did it with just 4 hits and tremendous pitching.
Yeah, you can't say enough about the pitching right now. A walk-off win, Cole Young coming through. Josh Naylor, you know, had that big home run to get him on the board. But there you see the celebration, the smiles. J.P. Crawford, Cole Young just having fun. They're having fun again at the ballpark. 7 straight wins, as Paul mentioned. Another walk-off win. I believe that's 3 walk-off wins in 4 games right now for this team. So in first place, things are going the right direction right now for this team.
Yeah, they really are. And we talk about it seems like every day on this program, but they just keep trotting out stud pitcher after stud pitcher, and then they get these guys coming in. Those pitchers only really have to go 6 innings, give them a quality start, walk away, hand the ball to the bullpen, and it's just choose your weapon out there when it comes to that bullpen. And Gabe Spire just came on last night and hit the bulk of that Mets lineup and just took them out. So a lot of great things happening from the starters to the bullpen.
Yeah, you mentioned Gabe Spire, and a lot of people are looking at Cole Young as, you know, their MVP last night with that big hit, or Emerson Hancock. No question about it. But Spire, to me, what he did in the 10th inning, that was absolutely amazing. Hancock's numbers we're going to get to in a sec. But as we just talked about, the Mariners bullpen last night, lights out. The Mariners used 4 pitchers out of the pen. They didn't give up 1 hit or even 1 walk. They had 5 Ks in 4 innings.
And then the bullpen, you can't say enough about the job that they did. Just coming in there, guy after guy, just, you know, kind of taking the baton from the guy before him and you know, doing the same thing. And when you got, you know, that many guys going out and putting up zeros, you know, that's a huge thing. And again, we talked about, you know, that 10th inning and being able to hold them at the beginning of the 10th inning and how important that is. Gabe, with, you know, sort of the meat of that lineup, just went right through him. And I thought that was, you know, that was a huge part in the ball game where you knew that, you know, good things were going to come on your end. And
yeah, to see Gabe Spire pitching like he did last night is a good sign. He pitched in 76 games last season, led the Mariners with 24 holds. And Paul, we can't say enough right now also about another pitcher on that team, Emerson Hancock. And what a difference. You got Gabe Spire. The tats are all down the line. Just looks like a bad boy. And then you got the country good boy, Emerson Hancock, and what he's been doing right now, Paul. Sensational.
Yeah, man. He's like a silent assassin out there on the mound. Hancock, tremendous. Going against a Mets lineup that is outside of Juan Soto and maybe Marcus Semien is a very unrecognizable bunch. They've had their share of injuries, of course, and the Mariners took full advantage of it last night. But Chris, we talk about it on this show. The Mets have a $334 million payroll, tops in all of Major League Baseball by like $25 million over the Dodgers. Who would ever thought that? But again, they're trotting out all this kind of dough. You can't hardly recognize any of their guys except for Juan Soto. And despite the fact they are playing better baseball, the Mariners they've got them handled because they're facing a Mariners pitching staff that can definitely stand up to anybody in that lineup.
Well, let's bring it up again. Let's look at Emerson Hancock's stats because absolutely impressive what he has done with this ball club. 6 innings pitched, 2 runs, 2 earned runs allowed, 7 strikeouts, no walks. That is 8 quality starts right now. 8 quality starts this season for Emerson Hancock, Paul. I mean, he's been on fire.
Yeah, he's tied with Brian Wu with 8, and that's second to a group of pitchers with 9 quality starts this season. The Mariners have the longest current winning streak right now at 7 games. The Rangers are second, having won 4 straight. So let's take a look at the AL West standings. The Rangers keeping pace with the M's in the division. They're 2.5 back, followed by the A's, Astros, and Angels. And again, Hancock and Wu with 8 quality starts this season.
Yeah, a year ago, Hancock was more of a sinker slider pitcher. Here's where I'm getting a little baseball nerdy, talking with my college baseball son. This season, he has leaned into a sweeper, and last night that sweeper was nasty. At one point, Hancock retired 12 straight. After the game, Hancock talked about his approach last night.
Attacking the strike zone, being able to land off-speed pitches in different counts, early or late, and just trusting your stuff.
You tell that a stretch like this was going to come eventually for you guys?
I mean, you never really know, but I mean, I think as a team, you stick together, you keep fighting, you take it one day at a time, and I mean, we believe in each other. We love playing with each other, and you know, when you get a little momentum, you know, good things can happen.
Listening to Emerson after last night's game, he talked about kind of that, what you mentioned, Paul, like we just need to give 6 really good innings. And it's gone are the days of these pitchers wanting to go 9. They know on this Mariners staff, now that you have Brash back, you have Spire back, we just got to go 6 strong. If we get a 7th inning, great. That's quality. But you go 6 strong, you're going to hand it over to the bullpen. The bullpen, if they did what they did last night, I mean, that was nasty. No hits, no walks from that bullpen.
Yeah, outstanding. And then offensively, we're seeing some of those young stars, you know, they come up here. Sometimes they struggle against major league pitching because they do so well in the minors. And like, yeah, you start throwing the curveball, breaking ball, and they face major league pitching, and that's when they run into trouble. But Colt Emerson is a young guy who's having no trouble. Cole Young, same thing. Colt Emerson, 1 for 3 last night. Solo homer. He's had 50 plate appearances. That's it so far. And he's hitting 250. And Chris, you can't say enough about this young guy.
Yeah, I think there were some people wondering, you know, if it was too soon to bring him up. He was getting his numbers were starting to improve in Tacoma. And no, it hasn't been too soon. Only 50 plate appearances. He's only going to get stronger. You remember last year, it felt like when they got to the playoffs, Cole Young just wasn't seasoned enough for those playoffs. Colt Emerson's going to be ready if this Mariner team makes a playoff run. Last 14 days, 263, 10 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs. He is crushing the ball, hitting hard. 5 RBI. I mean, he has been playing great baseball. You got Colt on one side, and then you got Cole Young on the other side. And Cole Young, if you want to look at last night, a lot of people are going to look at that walk-off hit, Paul. It's actually a double play that he turns earlier in this game that ends up being very big in this game. Tags the runner, throws to first, gets the double play. Sensational defense from Cole Young. But how about that game-winning hit? After the game, the youngster talked about his approach at the plate with the game on the line.
Yeah, it was a great win. I feel like in that bat, just the main thing, it was just, you know, relax and just try to keep everything simple, try to keep the approach simple, really just put the ball in play. You know, helped a ton that Randy stole third right there and brought the infield in. So just made it a lot easier for me. And yeah, like I said, just put the ball in play and stay simple.
I do need to ask Brad Adam if he's getting jealous at all. You know, you get Colt and Cole, Paul, and their hair is just so full and so strong. And Brad, for years, has been known to have the best hair at Mariners games. But now you got these youngsters coming in, and they got the smile. I don't even think they shave yet, Paul. They're so young, but they're doing damage.
I'm not even sure Colt Emerson can have a beard yet. But, yeah, it's an interesting group of guys out there that certainly have just hit the ground running when it comes to the majors. Let's get into it. Mariners broadcaster Brad Adam will join us next. He'll respond to Chris Egan's shot at him as we take a deeper dive into this Mariners team that's on a nice roll right now as they go for their 8th straight win tonight. Stay with us.
It's nice to, keep winning and just, build off of that, build that momentum, and, it's great. It's always fun to win, so I think we're just having a great time out there, and, whether it's the 10th, 11th, we're still going to have fun and play our game and, just keep competing every single pitch.
Smile says it all there, Paul. The smile
never
on
get
JP's
tired of
face.
Yeah, those still shots at the end of those games when they're dumping anything they can possibly find on the players is a lot of fun. We are back here on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show. Cole Young will be 23 years old next month. He's enjoying life right now along with the rest of his Mariners teammates. Let's bring in the forever young Mariners broadcaster, Brad Adam, who is known as the Dick Clark of broadcasting. The guy never gets old. Look at him.
Paul, he put a hat on. I think he felt the pressure. He felt pressure when I said his hair, is getting challenged by Cole Young.
There you go.
Look at that.
Boy.
Wow.
Drop the hammer on Egan.
Who pulls a hat off and has hair like that?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, man.
Hey, it's still product from last night, so it's still in there, my friend.
But you're right. Before we get really into the Mariners, what shampoo are you using?
I think it's Crew shampoo right now. I'm not real particular. Whatever I can find in the hotel rooms that we travel, just a little travel size, I take. I figure they're nice hotels, so the product's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you look at that. Go ahead, man. You look at that pelt, and it's like, you can pretty much put anything on that. You'll be fine.
Fresh scent on there, maybe a mango.
But here's I'll give you guys a little insight, because you're right, Egan. I'm very jealous of Cole Young and the hair. So I have decided that we will never show Cole without a hat on. Right? I never want to see that hair again. So if he doesn't have his hat on, he does not make the air. We don't interview him. Right? So everybody will forget about his hair. That's what I'm going to go with.
I love it.
All right, man. Let's get to last night's game. Josh Naylor hits the game-tying home run and then leaves the game with what Dan Wilson said were back spasms. What do you think? Anything to be concerned about there?
I don't think so. It's something that has bothered him maybe a little bit here and there, but I think it's just a day-to-day type of thing. I don't think it's anything serious at all. I mean, he was using the gun like we all do, right? As we get out of bed every morning. Oh my gosh, the joints ache. And I think he probably could have played, but it's being smart, and they took him out, and they'll evaluate him. But I think it's just going to be a day-to-day thing, which is good because, man, as you guys talked about, this team is rolling. And I like guys bringing me on after a 7-game win streak. Yeah. I like that.
Well,
no more losses. I only talk about wins.
We wanted you to come on after a win streak.
Hey,
and it's still going. Let's be clear.
That's right. A good chance to keep it going. The Tigers are having an awful start to their season, so there's a good chance to go into Detroit this weekend and maybe take at least 2 out of 3 from them. So Cal Raleigh back with the team, still rehabbing as he deals with an oblique injury on his right side. He's doing some light work, Brad, and it was good to see him out there. He misses his teammates.
Oh, big time. Never been on the IL before. And yesterday was kind of a nice step for him. He took, you see him running out there in the outfield, and then he got the gear on and caught a Bryan Woo bullpen. So that was really cool to see. And he's walking through the dugout, and we're just kind of chatting about, and we're looking, and here comes Cal in full gear walking by, and we're like, oh, hey, Cal, what are you doing? Are you doing something? So, yeah, I just caught a bullpen. So that's good. They're going to figure out a timeline for his rehab stint and what he's going to do. Hopefully today or tomorrow they'll let us know what's up. I don't think he's going – he might go back to Arizona, but I think he's going to be, hopefully up here rehabbing and go out into some games pretty soon. I don't know how long he's going to need. But, again, this is something, the obliques, as you guys know, it's like hamstrings. They're like tricky and they can linger. So you want to make sure that it's totally quiet, died down, and that when he does come back, this is not going to be an issue and he'll be ready to go.
Brad, when the Mariners lost Cal, and he's not back on the team yet, heading in the right direction, not only in my mind do you lose a bat, you lose a catcher with this great pitching staff, you also lose leadership. Yet with that said, Julio Rodriguez, let's talk about Julio. I can go back to that Kansas City series when the meeting Julio and Randy had in the dugout about after a defensive mishap. Since that game, this Mariners team has been on fire. I'm not quite sure what Julio said, but I'll say this. What I'm seeing from the outside, and Brad, this is why we love having you, because you're with this team. What I'm seeing from the outside is it seems like Julio is really embracing this leadership role. He's having fun with the guys, and it seems to be paying off right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, winning's fun, right? Everybody's enjoying themselves right now. And it's a good point you had, because it was interesting. He was late for his at-bat, and we're like, what happened to Julio? Did he forget he was up? He actually got, a pitch clock violation, had a ball called on him in that at-bat. But I think it just shows you a more growth of Julio and finding his voice a little bit in the clubhouse. Some of the pitchers are starting to do that, like Brian Wu, as well as Logan Gilbert. But you're right. Cal leaves a big void, and Julio has really stepped in and filled that in May. I mean, he had arguably the best month of May, the best month of his career, and certainly one of the best months in the American League. He could easily be AL Player of the Month. That'll be announced either today or I think maybe tomorrow. But I think it's just another step for him in when he's producing like that. Randy has been consistent all season long. You see Luke Raley get hot. What's really nice to see now is you got pitching. You guys talked about how good the bullpen has been, and contributions from everybody, right? A Ref Snyder home run here, a Raley here, a Canzone, a Young, Colt Emerson. It's fun to watch right now. And then you think, wow, they're going to get Cal Raleigh and Brendan Donovan back.
Yeah.
Like, how scary good is this team going to be? And the belief has always been there. What's I like about this team is that there's no panic, there's no change, there's no variation from routines and pre-games and getting ready for games when they were struggling. They knew that, the talent was there, keep trusting the process, and now we're seeing results. And this team, I think, is just taking off. I think they do not look back at all the rest of the season in the AL West.
And, Brad, I'm going to throw one more name, and it's another veteran at you guys, that being J.P. Crawford. In his last 8 games, 3 home runs, had his first multi-home run game of his career. I believe that was on Friday to help him get the win. 10 hits, 6 RBI over this 8-game stretch. I feel like he's been taking, obviously, a lot of heat for his defensive play this season. And even though he was 0 for 4 last night against the Mets, he has been another key to this win streak.
Yeah, leading off, with Donovan out, he's leadoff home run. You mentioned the multi-homer game. He's playing defense at shortstop. He obviously knows that Colt Emerson's a future there. I still think that move to third is going to happen. I'm not sure when, but it will happen this year. But good for him, and he saved that play. The Diamondbacks, top of the 10th, a great play, infield in, saved a run. They win it in the bottom of the 10th. I think just the selflessness, another leader in that clubhouse, a guy, longest tenured Mariner, right? He's played more games at shortstop than any other shortstop in team history. So this guy has had just a fabulous career here, and he wants to continue it. And he knows, doing that wherever they want him to be, is that third or second or moving around, whatever that is. So that was, I think, a big point with the team. And they embraced JP. They embraced Colt Emerson when he came up. And it's just really good vibes in that clubhouse right now. A lot of it has to do with, great point, JP.
Well, and to circle back to your comments there, so you think there is a chance he possibly goes to third, and you've worked very closely with JP over the years. Is this something he would embrace, is making that move over to third?
Absolutely. I mean, it was his idea. He came to Dan Wilson and the team, saying, if this guy is better, I want what's best for the team. So if me moving to third makes us better, he's all for it. Which, kudos to him for that. And also he realizes that, from shortstop, where do shortstops go? They maybe move to second. They maybe move to third. So he's, his contract is up after the end of this season, and he knows his value is going to be somewhere probably other than shortstop. So smart move by him, a selfless move by him, and it really shows you what kind of player he is and how much he wants to win.
Yeah, and he's made it clear that he wants to stay in Seattle. And, you bring up Emerson, the fact that the kid's just 20 years old. He doesn't turn 21 until July 20th. So it's coming up on that big 21st birthday, Brad. I don't know, it's a big celebration
I'm going to take him out. He has the exact same birthday as my oldest.
Yeah.
Oh.
My oldest just graduated college, exact same birthday. So they're going to be 21 years old together. Wow. And I'm looking at her living at home, asking me what's for dinner. And I'm like, and here's Cole out there playing in the major leagues.
When Brad was 21, I believe he went out and got a Zima, Paul. That was
right. Yeah, a California cooler.
A few California coolers, yeah.
A couple
I think I got
Whitehearts.
Hey, we talk about Emerson and we talk about the prospects. I got to bring up Ryan Sloan, who's on some charts the top prospect in all of baseball. You got Cade Anderson as well, 2 top pitchers for this Mariners organization. No room to put him anywhere right now, but a lot of people think they still need their seasoning down there in the minors. Talk about these 2 guys and when you possibly think they might come up to the Mariners.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's another 20-year-old in Mr. Sloan. He was just named Texas League Pitcher of the Week. He had an outing where, 6 innings, he struck out 11. 6 perfect innings, struck out 11 and 61 pitches. Cade Anderson goes 5 1/3. We've seen this against Frisco here, I believe. 5 1/3 with 9 punch-outs, 1 run, or no runs. It's just Anderson's 21, Sloan's 20. They're just carving up Double-A, which is great to see. I would think that Anderson is a little bit ahead of him. A high school pitcher, you really want to limit his pitches, limit his innings. I'm very curious to see the plan for these guys. Is it a move to Triple-A? Is it a move to, here to the bigs later, and maybe Anderson pitches out of the pen? You've seen some teams do that where they bring guys up from Double-A and put them right there in the pen to help them out down in September. 5 1/3, like I said, yeah.
Those would be a couple nice arms. Those would be a couple nice arms to have there, Brad. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sloan, I think I can't see him being up this year, but again, you never say never. You never know what's going to happen with the rotation here, but yeah, you're right. It's a nice problem to have. We thought a 6-man rotation was tough. Now you got 2 more guys, right, to add to the mix.
8-man rotation piggyback. I don't know. I don't see it happening. You do mention the pen, Brad, and there's no secret on this show, my man crush for Matt Brash. And you also look at this team in their roller coaster ride, and a lot of it happened when Gabe Spire and Matt Brash were out. And I know maybe I make too much of the bullpen, but it just feels like these 2 have been so key now that they're back. We saw that performance in Game 1 against the Mets, what this bullpen can do. And sure, I mean, Hancock should get a lot of kudos for what he did on the mound, but to have a pen like that, not 1 hit, not 1 walk, I think having Spire and Matt Brash back have been key for this Mariners' success.
Absolutely. That's the way they're built. They play a lot of close games. They play a lot of low-scoring games, a lot of one-run games. And to win a lot of those games, you need your bullpen. And the beginning of the year, they were not winning a lot of those close games. They were trying to figure things out. Ferrer was trying to find his footing out there in the bullpen. They've figured it out, and they've gotten healthy. They've got 2 really high-leverage lefties, Inspire and Ferrer. That gives Dan Wilson just a lot of different options. And then you've got Brash, who's, he deserves your man crush for sure. And then you've got Mooney, who's been a little up and down, but you know he's going to be fine. So if you can shorten games, right, and you get 6, like you guys were talking about, 6 good innings out of a starter, you feel really good turning the ball over to that bullpen. And the other guys have been good as well. I mean, look at Cooper Criswell, who won a game in the 10th inning, not allowing a run. Other guys have come together, and being able to go multiple innings is huge for these guys too. So it's a really good kind of battle-tested bullpen right now that are back healthy and throwing great.
Mooney's slider's looking better. I will say this to both of you. Watching last night's game, I'm starting to change my thoughts on the tarps off thing. I'm not going to take my shirt off, but the kids are up there having fun. And that's what baseball should be. It should be having fun. Right. If you're a fan, we see the success of this with Banana Ball. They're selling out everywhere. So you know what? If you want to go up to the 300 level and take your shirts off and have fun,
let's go.
Who am I? Who am I, the old man?
Who has a problem with that?
Well, on this show? We said maybe keep your shirts on. No more. I'm just
I
like,
wasn't
go
on the
have
show
fun.
that day.
No, you
I couldn't
weren't,
have been
Paul.
on the show.
You know where he was, Brad? He was off in like Paris having a baguette.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey, man,
That
it's
sounds
just part of
about
summer
right.
vacation. I got to take some time here and there. But listen, I know tomorrow's getaway day for you, and one of the challenges for you as a broadcaster is these long road trips. But you're going to Motor City for the weekend, and you head down to the D.C. area for Baltimore and the Nationals. So, but you get a day off in Detroit, man. What else can you ask for, Brad?
Exactly. Well, another day off, but I'll take one so I could golf. Yeah, I think we got three groups going out on Thursday, so that should be fun.
Good.
The problem with these trips, though, is I need more polos. I've only got like 4 or 5, so I'm doubling up polos. And just hope you don't sweat through the first.
I'll send you some. I'll Amazon
wearing.
you some polos, Brad. I got plenty. But I don't know if you caught that, Brad. You get one day off in Detroit. Paul's off in Paris. I mean, what's wrong with this?
Well, Detroit is the Paris of the USA.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah.
And on
It's
that
best.
note, we'll leave this right there. Brad Adam heading to the Motor City for a wonderful weekend in the
wonderful.
Midwest. Thank you, Brad. We appreciate the insight, man, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
The
You got
Paris
it. Anytime,
of the
guys.
Midwest. Wow.
Love it.
All right. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the Seahawks and the NFC West. The Rams making all the headlines the last 24 hours with the Myles Garrett trade. We'll break it down a little further next. Welcome back to the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show. Time to talk Seahawks and NFC West. During our show on Monday, we had a Schefter bomb dropped on us with the Rams trading for Myles Garrett. In return, they send Jared Verse to the Browns, along with a 2027 first-round pick, 2028 second-rounder, and a 2029 third. Chris,
Yeah,
the Rams look like they're all in.
Yeah, Paul, for all the Seahawk fans saying we don't care, well, maybe you should on this one. Myles Garrett is very good. He had an NFL record 23 sacks last year. He also had 60 tackles, forced 3 fumbles. He has played great against the Seahawks. He's only played against them twice, in 2019 and in 2023. But in those 2 games, he had 7 total tackles, 3 sacks, and he forced 2 fumbles. He makes the Rams a better team. Jared Verse, very good. High potential. In 5 years, he will be better. But right now, against the Hawks, Garrett just makes the Rams a better team. He is a game changer. There it is, one more time. 23 sacks last year. I also feel like this, Paul, is a move like the Rams see their window closing with McVay and Stafford, and they're like, you know what? This Seahawks team is very good. We need to do something. We got to go out and get something. So this is also a compliment to the Seattle Seahawks because losing last year to the Seahawks has definitely stung. There is salt in the wound of the Rams, and they're doing everything they can to be ready for the upcoming season.
I have always loved the Rams' aggressive approach to everything. And Sean McVay, the head coach, the GM Snead, both signed contract extensions just in February. So they're locked in for the long haul. But Matthew Stafford has a contract extension that takes him out through the 2027 season at $55 million. So he is, this could be his last season. You don't know, but he is under contract for next season as well. But I just love the fact that they push all their chips to the middle of the table and say, let's do it now. So
and Verse is a good player. I mean, I think he had 7 tackles against the Hawks last year, was solid in both those games. But when you look at putting these two on the table right now, I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, Garrett is the defensive player of the year. So if you were to sit here and say, oh, they lost Verse, it's not that much of an improvement. No, it's an improvement for this Rams team. It is going to be a hell of a season when the Hawks and the Rams face off.
Yeah, they gave up a lot for Myles Garrett. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a big fan, as you mentioned, Verse. When I first saw him hit the scene, that guy is a player, and he's only going to get better, and he's young. And the fact that they gave up all those draft picks as well. Myles Garrett is a 30-year-old, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, so they are getting a talent, of course, in Garrett. But again, he's got tread on the tires still, and these guys keep themselves in tremendous shape these days. They pay millions of dollars for their physical fitness and diet programs. And look at that. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ripped.
The arms don't look bad there, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like Terry Holloman when he's on this set. All right, on the topic of Garrett, let's turn to the sports books and bring in our king of the bet, sports producer, Dusty Baker. Dusty, and the betting lines seem to have changed significantly already in the wake of the Garrett trade.
Yeah, guys, man, it's crazy how fast Vegas works, right? And so, of course, just a couple days ago, you're not seeing too much of a difference here between the Rams and the Seahawks as far as where their odds were. Those were 1 and 2 as far as Super Bowl favorites. It's still what you see, but look at the lines and how they change so quickly, guys. The Rams go from 7.5 to 1 odds, essentially a $1 bet pays you $7.50. That's now $6 off of a $1 bet. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, they go up to $9.50. If you go on a $8 bet, it turns to now $9.50. And so for Garrett sacks, this is an interesting take right here, guys. It goes up from their projection of having him record 14 sacks with the Browns. That now goes up to 15.5 sacks. That's pretty substantial. I know that Garrett, of course, last year he had 23 sacks, but to see even a sack and a half go up, that's pretty significant, guys.
Were you surprised to see how quickly? I mean, this as soon as the news came out, these odds changed very quickly.
Yeah, and you know what? You see the lines in Vegas constantly moving, right? But when it's a significant trade like this, you always wonder, okay, how much of an impact does one player, especially in football that's not a quarterback, have on a team, right? And so this just kind of shows how much of a significant impact that Garrett has on this team as a whole. And look at those lines, guys. I mean, it's pretty surprising to see a significant shift like that as far as Super Bowl favorite, okay? In a second, we're going to take a look at the NFC West, and you'll see a difference there. But I just want to point out real quickly that the sack total, it is intriguing. It means he's in a better system, better opportunity for him to succeed. So, Chris, to your question, I mean, I think that the lines shift because Vegas clearly sees the Rams already as a Super Bowl favorite, but now the opportunity for Garrett to have even more of an impact. You're seeing the individual players' accolades go up. Vegas has higher expectations from him now. It's pretty remarkable to see the difference in a 24-hour period of time.
So with that, for folks watching that may not understand the numbers, Rams right now, Super Bowl favorite. Seahawks, second on the list? Where are they at on the list?
Yeah, second on the list, and that didn't change at all, but you did see those general odds go up and down. So you had a separation, essentially, of just 0.5, right? Like, so if you put a $1 bet on the Seahawks, originally you would have gotten $8 if they had won the Super Bowl. Now, if you do that, they get a $9.50 differential. You see a difference, though, with the Rams, and those odds go from $7.50 to $600. So you're losing $1.50 off of a bet now. So if you bet on the Rams 2 days ago, all of a sudden you're kind of smiling right now because you had better odds then than you do now. Now the odds, I don't see the Rams odds going any higher than that. And with that being said, guys, I think at the end of the day, those are pretty unbelievable odds for the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Generally speaking, you don't see odds that low. You're seeing it around 10 to 1, 11 to 1. These are 6 to 1 odds for the Rams. And I got to point back to the Garrett sacks, man. That is pretty surprising to see a jump. Generally, those stats stay the same because the player doesn't change. It's now the atmosphere, the opportunity. I do want to point you guys, though, to what the NFC West looks like, because these odds also took quite a change, and specifically what that looks like. Okay, you have the Rams going from plus 135. So on a $1 bet, you would win $1.35 if they won the division. A lot of people that really believe in the Rams, they would put something like $100 on them to win. Therefore, they would win $135, right? So that's how that equation goes. Well, now that's changed to plus 105. So you're basically getting your money back.
Listen, man, I'm smiling the whole time because I love the fact that everybody's chasing the Seahawks. Everybody's got to do whatever they can to adjust their team, to attack the Seahawks, defend the Seahawks. And I love the Hawks still have the target on their back. They're the defending champs. They also go into this season with very little needs. I mean, they showed it, thank you, Chris, they showed it in the draft. They were able to have the luxury of taking a guy in the 6th round because he's a special teams gunner. I mean, it's like, yeah, we'll just take this guy and this guy. We just have a few holes to fill.
What's Coach say, Paul? What are we doing now? We're running it forward? Is that it?
That's what Mike McDonald came up with, the run it forward phrase. These guys are all bought in, as we know. Everybody's on board at the VMAC. And I know the Rams are going to be tough, but I do want to caution everybody. Let's just relax. The Rams are doing everything they can to catch these Seahawks, but the Seahawks are buttoned up under great leadership, tremendous head coach, great talent, has not changed. They had very little needs going into this preseason. That's why you're not seeing them going out and doing what the Rams are doing, who they knew going up against a red-hot Sam Darnold down the stretch, they were going to have something and something to defend that Seahawks offense. So, listen, I smile because I'm just completely relaxed with this Seahawks team going into the upcoming season.
Paul's relaxed. I'm relaxed. I love it.
All right.
Okay, so the question is, guys, if you are relaxed, you don't feel like the Seahawks need any sort of response here as far as going out in free agency, anything like that. You think where they're at right now, they're still good enough to overcome this Rams team.
They took care of business in the draft in the offseason, and well, as Paul mentioned, the Rams are panicking. Coach McDonald's in his office right now game planning how to beat the Rams because he knows how to do it.
Listen, and we know the Rams needed help on defense last year. They went out and got Trent McDuffie in the trade with the Chiefs. So they needed a defensive back, a stud like that. That's a huge help, having the former Husky in their lineup as well. Myles Garrett helps up front. They needed that. The Seahawks don't need these things that the Rams are going after to get. So let's move on now. The Garrett news was a massive bomb. It wasn't the only one dropped on us yesterday. Russell Wilson officially accepting a role on air as a talent now for CBS Sports. So it begs the question, is that the end of Russell Wilson's career? Is he a Hall of Famer? Things like that. So, I'll just bring you in, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer
no,
at this point.
At this point, I don't either. I think I can't say. I think he's on the bubble, Paul. I think he is on the bubble. He started in 2 Super Bowls, over 45,000 passing yards. I mean, his passing numbers are exceptional. He never had a losing season in Seattle. Never a losing season in Seattle. But for me, where he may lose it, Paul, is what happened after Seattle. The rough run in Denver. No NFL MVP award. No first-team All-Pro. And sure, there are others like Aikman, Namath, and Greasy that did not win MVP awards as well, and they went into the Hall of Fame. They all won Super Bowls. And people could say, well, Egan, Russell's stats may be better than Namath and Greasy when you look back. But for me, Paul, it's that rough stretch after Seattle where I think kind of is going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. In Seattle, I watched him many, many times. He was a Hall of Famer. It's what happened after Seattle, I think, that possibly is going to keep him out.
Yeah, listen, the respect for Russell Wilson is deep in this town for what he did for the Seahawks team, and he deserves that respect. It's as Chris said, it's what he did after Seattle. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not. He's going to the booth now. He had a great career early on, kind of struggled the last several years. Doesn't matter. The guy has a lot to hang his hat on, and again, broadcaster now, NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer in the future. It's not going to happen.
Ring of Honor in Seattle, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, never had a
absolutely.
losing season. Helped the Seahawks bring home a Super Bowl championship.
Man.
It was an incredible time here. Obviously, much respect to the LOB and the defense, but Russell was the leader of that offense, along with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, and outside of a Malcolm Butler pick, we might be able to have that Pro Football Hall of Fame discussion, but again, not going to happen in my opinion. All right, up next, Melinda Gates doesn't just dip her toe into the sports waters. She jumps right in with Samantha Holloway and the Kraken ownership group. What does this mean in the quest to bring back the Sonics? Coming up. Welcome back to the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show and some big news from the Seahawks, Chris, as they get set to resume organized team activities tomorrow. We know edge rusher Derek Hall is going to have a big smile on his face when he takes the field.
Well, it's interesting, the segment before, Dusty Baker told us, you think the Seahawks are going to do anything? You think the Seahawks were listening to the show? Possibly, because yes, Dusty, they did something. Edge rusher Derek Hall and the Seahawks have reached an agreement today on a 3-year, $42 million extension that could be worth up to $46.5 million. And it includes $21 million guaranteed. That, according to his agents. Derek Hall, Paul, you were there at the Super Bowl. He had a couple sacks, forced a fumble. I mean, this is big news for the Seahawks on this day.
Yeah, it is. And, we were talking about they got Dante Fowler in the offseason and, just trying to fortify that defensive front. But they knew Derek Hall had the contract up, and they wanted to get him locked up because keeping a young edge rusher there takes the need away from going out and looking to find somebody because they love what Hall does for them. And they, of course, lost Boye Mafe in the offseason with his big contract with Cincinnati. So they needed to make sure they kept some guys on board. They love this team. They love their guys up front. We love them as fans because they tore it up last year on defense, Chris. So that's good news.
So once again, Derek Hall, the Seahawks reached an agreement today. $42 million extension, and there's big news all over the city of Seattle right now.
Yeah, that's right. Let's turn our attention to the Kraken, the Seattle Kraken ownership group. One Roof Sports, led by Samantha Holloway, reeled in a huge name. Billionaire philanthropist Melinda French Gates has become the newest minority investor in the Seattle Kraken. Melinda joins an ownership group that already featured a variety of minority investors, including longtime Hollywood producer Jerry Bruckheimer and Amazon CEO Andy Jassy.
We caught up with NHL Network's Emily Kaplan, who had the chance to sit down with both Melinda and Samantha to discuss the outlook on Gates being added to the ownership group.
I look at Melinda French Gates' portfolio. There's a lot of common themes, and one of them has been an investment in the Seattle community, right? Like, she's done so much there. And so I think that there was a bit of a wait and see approach of, okay, the Kraken are the new kids in town. What are they doing? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? And the answer clearly was yes. Well, I did ask Samantha Holloway about her bid for an NBA team. I know that's great interest to everybody in your market to bring the Supersonics back. They're excited for it. They're rabid for it. I know how much that team meant to the community, and basketball means to them as well. She reiterated that she's assembling this ownership group. The words that she used to talk about it were pretty optimistic. She said that they're excited for it. They feel good about it. To stay tuned. I think it was too early to tell if Melinda French Gates would be a part of that. But I think, all the signs point to, if they do grow this thing, that she could be a part of it, which would be really exciting. Again, don't quite know yet. We'll have to see. But I know that controlling ownership of Climate Pledge Arena definitely strengthens their position because there would be a place for the team to play.
Yeah, I love the fact that that group is fortifying its position to get ready to make a bid for that NBA expansion team. And we know that Melinda Gates has a net worth of $30 billion. We know that this is going to be a franchise fee to get an expansion team here in Seattle, Chris. Roughly $5 billion just for the fee alone. So we're going to hear from the NBA owners. The Board of Governors is going to meet by the end of the year for sure. Maybe in July they'll have a decision, but Adam Silver said definitely by the end of the year they would have a decision on expansion.
Yeah, and people watching at home, basically, Paul, Chris, what does this mean for me? It's just more good news. It's more good news. Anytime you can add a billionaire into the mix, the relationship that Melinda and Samantha already have, it's a good thing. So in the end, positive sign for the Seattle Sonics returning.
Yeah, great to see anything that says Sonics around this town. Speaking of the NBA Finals are set to tip off tomorrow night in San Antonio as Mitch Johnson, the former O'Day star, and the Spurs host the New York Knicks.
Paul, this is one of the most fascinating finals matchups in years. The veteran, battle-tested Knicks trying to win their first title since 1973 against the young, fearless Spurs led by the most dominant two-way player in basketball, Wemby. Now, Paul, I don't know if you remember this. The Knicks and Spurs already met in the 2025 NBA Cup. Yeah, I know you love this game. It was in Las Vegas. The Knicks won that game. They captured the NBA Cup title. But the NBA Finals, it's going to be a little different.
I feel like a finals is won by a team, and I think both of our teams are different than what you saw at the Cup, even though, we were blessed to be able to have the chance to to win it. You know, we're not the same team that we were at the Cup, nor are they the same team that we played at the Cup.
All right, all that talk about the Cup. I think we've spent too much time talking about the Cup, but I am, Paul, excited about these NBA Finals. I think the Spurs, I think I'm rooting for the Knicks because I root for great stories and storylines and moments, and it would be fascinating to see the Knicks win their first title for the first time since I was born. But I just don't know how you stop Wemby. I think the Spurs win this series in 7 games. Think it's going 7. I just think the Spurs win it because I don't see them stopping Wemby.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the Knicks and their fan base, and I love the fact that, you know, they're going to have all their stars courtside for these games. That is the most famous arena on the planet. Madison Square Garden finally gets to host an NBA Finals matchup, so they are going to have a riot there. Be a lot of fun with the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs. All right, up next, our final drive. UFC is getting set up for fight night on the south lawn of the White House. Plus, the late Mike Leach, college football coaching legend, eligible for selection to the College Football Hall of Fame. Some of Mike's best sound bites coming up. Final drive on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show. That is quite the scene there. Construction continues on the south lawn of the White House in preparation for UFC Freedom 250 coming up a week from Sunday, June 14th. President Trump first originally pitched this idea as a unique patriotic sporting spectacle to be part of the year-long celebrations honoring the 250th anniversary of the United States. So,
I tried to build a wrestling ring on my house. We had bunk beds, you know, we're jumping off the top shelf, but Barbie can put an end to that.
I was going to say, there
quickly.
had to be some injuries at the house.
There were some injuries. You know, we were getting concussions before we even knew what that word was, but we were having fun. We were having fun.
You survived,
Paul.
my man.
And speaking of fun, we've had a lot of fun through the years covering a coach by the name of Mike Leach, the late great. The college football coaching legend is now eligible for selection to the College Football Hall of Fame, the class of 2027. Leach is one of 9 coaches on the ballot. The class will be unveiled in January. And Paul, obviously, he knew how to win football games, but he also knew how to work the media over the years.
Yeah, sure was fun. Even just on the Mondays after a weekend of football, he would take the podium in Pullman, and everybody would just kind of sit around and wait for Mike Leach to just get that great nugget of sound. And sometimes he wasn't in the mood, Chris. You could tell. He was a little surly, and you just stay away from him, stay away from those light topics. Sure. But when you knew he was ready to play, at the end of those press conferences, you could hear the questions and the topics come in, and they just kind of threw out these lines to see if Mike would bite, and sometimes he did.
And he loved to talk about history. He loved to talk about Pirates. He had a love for Pirates, and he was always learning. And I think in the end, one of my favorite moments with Coach Mike Leach, I go back to his first practice ever at Washington State University, and King 5 was there. I was with the late, great Alan Reed, our photojournalist of many years at King 5 Sports. And at one point on the practice field, this is his first practice year, look out there, and there's Mike Leach and Alan Reed by themselves just chatting away. And they talk for about 15 minutes, and people are coming up to me and are like, why is the coach talking with your photographer? What are they talking about? What's going on out there, Egan? I'm like, I don't know. And then Alan came back to the sidelines and I'm like, what were you guys talking about? And he said, Coach Leach just wanted to know more about his camera. He just wanted to learn more. He loved to learn. And so Alan was kind of explaining how the camera works and what he does with it. And he held it up to see how heavy it was, but it was just kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, and it's a great point to bring up that Mike Leach loved to learn, because in the offseason, he would put down his whistle and pick up a book. And I remember one book he read was about Geronimo, and he learned so much. That was one of his goals every offseason, is to pick up a book and read about something he knew nothing about. And he took all those months to learn about that subject.
We could take the whole hour and play some of his best quotes to the media, but we only got about a minute left. So here's some of Mike Leach's favorite moments.
Would I spend a week in jail to get rid of my student loans? I would have spent 3 months in jail to get rid of my student loans, and I would have done it happily. Eventually, before it was all said and done, I'd be leading prison calisthenics and stuff like that. I actually think a zombie apocalypse, I would die of boredom. Make sure you have mobility with your costume. Make sure you can get around. Make sure it's warm enough so that you can get as much candy as possible. And as soon as you get it, immediately hide it, because your brothers and sisters will try to steal it, especially older ones. I was the oldest, I know. No, I hate golf. That's another reason I wouldn't be on a committee. You have to golf a lot. I don't golf enough to be on a committee because it's boring. You know, golf's pretty much for people that don't swear effectively enough or need practice at it. And so, I mean, there are those that need golf, and I don't think that I do.
So good with the media. But, Paul, that is not why he will head to the Hall of Fame. He will head to the Hall of Fame if he gets selected because of what he did as a coach, his air raid offense. It was so tough to stop that offense. They just put points up on the board every single game.
Yeah, it felt like they were never out of any games for sure. And, you know, we talk about what Mike did on game day, what he did on Mondays after the game. But during the week, he'd put those players through. You know, when he first showed up in Pullman, those guys got an eye-opener for sure when they saw some of the drills that Mike put them through. He had a sand pit out there that he forced the players to go through, and it was basically no day at the beach, so to speak. And those guys put in some hard work. And Mike says, it's all part of discipline. It's all part of learning it.
And speaking of hard work, I want to thank Brad Adam. Joined us earlier to talk about the Mariners trying to keep their winning ways going. But obviously the big news on this day as well, Derek Hall, 3-year extension with the Seattle Seahawks. $42 million, Paul. Yeah. $21 million guaranteed.
Oh, man, he's such a great story as well. So congratulations to him. Well earned. You can catch us on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show weekdays at 10 a.m. on Kong and live streaming on the King 5 app. It's also available on demand so you can watch us whenever you want. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you tomorrow.